Now, not everything is rosy in the Indian economic garden. Airlines, for one, which grew spectacularly over the past 10 years, are now in deep trouble. There's no real rosy scenario. Falling demand, soaring fuel costs, fierce competition, high debt, it's all combining to squeeze carriers. They say times are now so hard, they're struggling to pay wages, cutting jobs. Employees aren't prepared to go quietly. Strikes by pilots have brought business to a standstill. Staff at Jet Airways and the state-owned Air India only recently ended their latest stoppage. And now it looks like India's airline workers are set to club together in a nationwide super union. According to the Economic Times, it would have a membership of 50,000. Sanjay Aggarwal is the chief executive of one of the new carriers, been flying just over 4 years. The carrier is SpiceJet. It's a low-cost carrier, but it's got a very different ethos to the low cost that we might expect in Europe or the United States. They won't put up with it in India.
When it comes to the product, I think the Indian consumer will expect to have it no frills. They will be, I think, okay to pay for a seat selection, pay for the baggage, pay for the food. However, India is a hospitable country. They would still expect the employees to be friendly. There is a phrase in India, Atithi Devo Bhav, which means the guest is like a god. So I think offering just water or beverage, being courteous, being nice to the guests, I think that will always be expected no matter what they pay for. So there was some debate, I don't know, one of these airlines, either Ryanair or EasyJet, they were looking into charging for using the restroom. Ryanair. So I think that's pushing the limits. I think that's where the Indian consumer, I know, will draw the line and say, you know what, God bless your airline.
The low-cost model, or the low fares model in India, came about to rival the railways initially. Now it's an industry in its own right, and you're rivaling each other. Where does it go next?
See, there is still a lot of migration that will happen from trains to air. There are about 10 million people who are still traveling by train every day. And all airlines combined are carrying about 150,000 passengers. So aviation will not only win few more customers over from railways, but aviation does what it does, it stimulates demand. Because a lot of trips that you wouldn't be able to do by train if it takes 20-hour journey out and back, now with air travel being affordable, being available, there will be more stimulation, more demand generated as a result.
But were you surprised at those changes that took place?
The aviation in India prior to 2004 was still in its fledgling state, 2 airlines pretty much, or 3 operating. The fares weren't where quite the Indian population will migrate from the trains to air. So there is no doubt that the value, as soon as the low-cost carriers entered the market, 5 years ago in 2004, there were no low-cost carriers in India. Today, about 70% of India's capacity is single-class configuration, no-frills single-class configuration. So you can see how in 5 years the market has, or Indian aviation has already transformed. So saying, were we surprised? I would say not really, because of the pent-up demand and because of lack of affordable alternatives.
But with that rate of growth, and with that number of new entrants, and with the Great Recession about to have hit, it was a disaster, an economic disaster waiting to happen.
We didn't foresee that this kind of growth rate is not sustainable. So we ordered more airplanes, more airlines started in India. If we had grown at probably 15-20% growth rate, 20% growth rate, we would still be in a very good position. I mean, last year was an unusual year. It was a global recession, it's an economic slowdown. And as you know, India's economy that has grown over the last 16, 17 years is because it is more plugged into the global economy than ever.
And yet, no airline has gone out of business.
And no one will ever. So it's not like anything got out of business. I don't think any airline will go out of business either. I think what will happen eventually, when the environment is right, there will be consolidation. There will be some mergers, there will be some more acquisitions, I think, because I think market is too small to have the number of airlines that are operating in India.
So, are you looking to buy or are you looking to sell?
We would like to be a buyer. We would like to see what opportunities exist, or if there are opportunities to merge, we will look at those opportunities as well.
Sanjay Aggarwal, the chief executive of SpiceJet, one of the low-cost carriers. When we come back in a moment, the world at work. And being India, it concerns gold.